I don't cook sweet foods very often, like desserts. I'm more of a savory foods kind of guy. However, a longtime internet friend named Jake sent me a recipe for refrigerator oatmeal cookies that he found in a 1956. 1956. I was 5 years old back then. Betty Crocker cookbook. The recipe was sent in for a contest, and the tasters said it was the best cookie they ever tasted. Convinced me. So let's make these refrigerator oatmeal cookies. I'm going to use my stand mixer with a dough hook, which I haven't used in a long while. This might be a dumb idea. I have 1/2 cup butter. The butter I use has a moderate amount of salt. If your butter is high in salt, you might want to use a salt-free or non-salted butter. Then I have 1/2 cup or 100 grams of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup packed, 160 grams brown sugar, 1 egg, 1 1/2 teaspoons of grated lemon rind, 1 1/2 teaspoons molasses. It's been a long time since I've cooked with molasses. And finally, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I use this eyedropper bottle. Each squirt is 1/4 teaspoon, so I need 2. Mix all these ingredients together until well blended. With the help of a spatula, a lot of help, I blended those ingredients fairly well. Next, I'm supposed to sift the dry ingredients into the bowl. I have 1 cup, about 140 grams of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of table salt. Sift, sift, sift. Then return this back to the stand mixer to blend and knead, or mix with a spatula. Add 1.5 cups, about 150 grams by weight, of rolled oats, also known as old-fashioned oats. They're the same thing. Blend the oats into the dough thoroughly. If the mixture seems a little too wet, you can add a tablespoon or 2 of flour. Sticky is okay. It will be sticky. There's my dough. It probably would have been much easier to blend with a spatula and then knead with my hands. I did add about a tablespoon of extra flour. Now I'm going to put on some gloves because I don't want to get this sticky dough under my fingernails. I need to shape this dough into a log about 2.5 inches, 6 centimeters in diameter, and about 1 foot or 12 inches, 30 centimeters long. I'm doing this on parchment paper because, as I said, it is sticky. Then I need to transfer this to some plastic wrap. This next bit is kind of tricky, but I think I have it figured out. As I roll and wrap this, I'm trying to give it a round log-looking shape. This needs to be refrigerated for 2 to 3 hours to firm up. Why refrigerate? I looked it up online. The best bakers recommend this step to allow time for the sugar to be dissolved by the moisture so that the cookies don't have a gritty texture unless you like that sugar crunch. And it allows the flour to absorb moisture for a better textured cookie. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator overnight because there is a football game on TV that I want to watch. So here we are. The following day, my cookie dough has been in the refrigerator overnight. It doesn't need to be chilled that long. 2 or 3 hours is enough, just until it's stiff. But I put mine in overnight because I'm in no hurry. Meanwhile, I've been heating my oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 200 degrees Celsius. So now I'm pretty much ready to start baking cookies. My cookie dough log is about 12 inches long. The recipe says it yields 4 dozen. And yes, that's a jet going overhead. So I need to slice this into pieces about 1/4 of an inch thick. The dough is a bit crumbly, but I should be able to mold this into a shape that will work okay. A little piece of parchment paper helps with the shaping because As I've said several times already, this dough is fairly sticky. I'm hoping to get a dozen on this baking sheet. This bit of parchment paper really helps. You do whatever works. I did get a dozen onto this baking sheet. Meanwhile, I'm going to wrap this remaining dough and return it to the refrigerator so that it holds its shape. These now go into the oven. Again, it's 400 degrees Fahrenheit or about 200 degrees Celsius. These need to bake 8 to 10 minutes. Here they are out of the oven. Look at that. They look like cookies. I can't remember when I last baked cookies. I let these bake 9 minutes. Let these cool 2 to 3 minutes on the baking sheet because they're fragile right now. They'll set up as they cool. Then transfer them to a wire rack to finish cooling. So there they are, all cooked. I got nearly 4 dozen. I already have some in an airtight container, which is how best to store them so that they stay crisp. If you like your cookies extra crisp and crunchy, you can bake them about a minute longer. Took out a few for myself for a little snack. Let's see how these taste. I haven't made cookies since, I think, 2012. Crisp. Maybe you can hear that crunch. It's mostly crisp with a little bit of chewiness, but it is sweet and delicious. So excuse me, I'm going to go enjoy my snack of refrigerator oatmeal cookies.